The town of Riften, a bustling city full of a strong merchant population. Lots of the town of Riften, a bustling city full of a strong merchant population, lots of depression and a lot of sewage. But what's really going on underneath the surface of this depressing, dirty Venice? How is the local economy doing? Well, we're back in Skyrim and we're doing another unemployment. The town of Riften, a bustling city full of a strong merchant population, lots of depression, and a lot of sewage. But what's really going on underneath the surface of this depressing, dirty Venice? How is the local economy doing? Well, we're back in Skyrim, and we're doing another unemployment survey. Alright, there's only one way to do a survey of the unemployment. And that's by going around and asking every single person whether or not they're employed. So that's what we're going to do. This town is sort of separated into two sections. There's an upper section and then there's a lower section. So I'm going to try to just do the upper section first. We'll do all the outdoors, then we'll do the businesses, and we'll just sort of take it from there. So this is probably going to be another pretty big one, so strap in. First up, Shader. Oh, Shader, you work at the stables?
Yes.
Well, I'm really happy to hear that, Shader. Congratulations on being employed. You're looking very festive today, aren't you, Maurice? Do you have a job? Oh, you're selling, what are you selling? Cheese and beef? Oh, or nothing? You're just abandoning your job? You're going home? Did you just quit? Alright, she's employed. Alright, what's up with you, Snilf? It's not hate to judge a book by its cover, but I don't know.
May the ground you walk quake as you pass.
That was a really nice thing to say, but just because you're nice doesn't mean you're employed. Now, we got all these market stalls, so this should be easy. Branche is employed. Grelka is employed. Madesi is definitely employed. What about you, Edda? I met a lot of people who look like you, Edda, and most of them are not employed.
Get away from me. Please, I need but a septum.
Edda, you should know as well as anyone, begging is not a job. This man's trying to sell me elixirs, that's employment. What do we got going on over here? Wow, look at this. This is some good employment if I ever heard of it. Oh, a couple new folks over here. What's going on with you guys? You're dressed pretty fancy, but that doesn't mean you're employed.
Mules brought me nothing but safety and peace.
Okay, so you've hired her.
Some lessons with the blade.
Which means that she's definitely employed. But what about you, Aaron? Oh my god, where's he going? Seems like this guy's just kind of wandering around being rich, because he's rich enough to wear those nice clothes and he's rich enough to hire a guard. And there's been some discussion in the past of whether we're including people like this as unemployed because they're not contributing, but they also don't want or need a job, right? Basically, somebody else is making the money that they would make if they had a job, so they don't really need to participate. So for the time being, I think we have to consider Aaron just sort of like not looking for a job, not applicable. Hello, ma'am. You look like a priest. Most likely that makes you employed in the context, but let's make sure you're not just one of those dirty street preachers. Because if you're a dirty street preacher, I swear to God. Come on, go to work. Go to a church. Prove it. Okay, now she's doing some prayer. Again, I'm not sure if that feels like employed behavior. But I guess given this ceremonial garb, I feel like it's pretty likely that she's an employed priest, right? Because this is the religion of this area. So most likely, I'm going to mark her down as employed until further notice.
If your allegiance lies with the Empire, we haven't much to discuss.
Sir, my allegiance lies with the Bureau of Labor Statistics and nothing else. So this guy, I think he works for the government because he's got a manor and he's talking about working for like the leader of this group, right? So I'm pretty sure that makes him employed. Nivanor, what's your deal?
Around somewhere, planning to feed the poor.
All right, so she's married and her husband, they're really rich, and she doesn't like her husband because he's given too much to charity.
If they're that hungry, they should just grow some food or something.
Right, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, it's true. Anyway, she's part of the population, but I don't think she counts as unemployed because she's rich, so she doesn't need to be employed. Boom! Wow, this looks like labor. Boom! How about Boley? Are you a fisherman, Boley?
Only the best in all.
Wow, he's a fisherman. You know what that means. Hello, sir. How are you? Driffa. Who are you, Driffa?
Bercy's afraid that someone's making a move to take the pawn prawn from us. I think he's being paranoid.
The blanc plan? What did you say? Drifty's system move and then summon a what? Oh, the pawned prawn. So you guys own a pawn shop. Good for you. Drifty's system.
Prawn from us. I think he's being...
Who are you, Driffa?
Bercy's afraid that someone's making a move to take the pawn prawn from us. I think he's being paranoid.
The blanc plan? What did you say? Drifty's system move and then summon a what? Oh, the pawned prawn. So you guys own a pawn shop. Good for you. I love a good pawn shop. Thank you for running a pawn shop. Pawn shops are a very important part of exploiting the poor. Let's see. Anybody else outside? Ah, who's this back here? Harold.
The son of the Jarl has no time for idle conversation.
Oh, you're the son of the Jarl. Well, and this is kind of the tough question, right? It's like you could consider this person not looking for a job, so then they're not unemployed. But honestly, most homeless people I've met aren't like looking for a job. And most unemployed people I've met are like quote unquote looking for a job, but they're not really looking for a job. So I don't know, I think I'm kind of like, I don't know, dude, get a job. Whereas if you're married to someone who's making a lot of money, it's the work that you're doing that's affording your spouse the ability to make the money, so you're like just as much a part of it as anyone. Whereas when you're just like the son of the Jarl and you're doing dances in the yard, I don't know, man, I don't think the Bureau considers that work. Sorry, loser. Alright, I think that pretty much covers everybody outside, so now it's time to start looking inside businesses. This is where it's going to get tricky to keep track of people. But, you know, we got to do it. Helga's bunkhouse. What the heck is this?
Keeping this place clean is quite a chore.
Savannah. Thanks, Savannah. You're hot.
I'd appreciate it if you'd keep your hands to yourself.
Alright, you're a good point. I shouldn't have said that. I take it back. I'm here on official business. You work here?
Work? I suppose you can call it that. I call it slavery.
Is it slavery or is it work? Because it's an important distinction. Point is, it sounds like you're employed. Ah, Helga, there you are. I've been looking for you all evening. You run the inn with this girl who says she's a slave, right? That's a job. Next up, the Blackbriar Meadery. A meadery is a place where people work. That's good.
So what if I have a problem? I know how to deal with it.
Oh, you've got a drinking problem? Is that what you're saying? But do you have a job? She's got a broom. She works. Incredible. Well, this guy certainly works here. Indarin, you work here? You're the brewmaster. Wow, that's a big job. Good for you. And you're also definitely employed. Hello, Romlin. Okay, meadery's done. Already got you. Blacksmith. The Scorched Hammer. Hello? Hello, employment? It's me. Your friend from the Bureau. Assborn. How are you, sir?
He's teaching me all about being a blacksmith.
Okay, so he's like an apprentice. I feel like we talked about apprentices last time, but I can't remember where I fell on them. I think they probably don't count as employed, but also like don't count as unemployed, right? They're just sort of like not looking, just like a wife. Boop boop boo doo doo. Honor Hall Orphanage. Okay, welcome to an orphanage. I know some people at the Bureau like to make the argument that since they don't have parents, there's no reason they shouldn't be working. But in my opinion, kids don't count.
The orphanage ain't letting us kids get adopted.
Wait, how can the orphanage not let you get adopted? That's not an orphanage, that's a slave zone. Hello, Constance. You look like you're working at the orphanage. Who are you? Are you like the leader of the orphanage? So what do? You like beat the kids and like make them clean and stuff? Oh, there she goes working. So yeah, she definitely is working here. She's probably the owner of the orphanage. Thank you for your employment. Stop beating the children. Alright, so now I'm in this family's house and they're like bickering about family interests and stuff. We got Ingun and Maven. Tell me about your family, Ingun. I need to figure out if they're employed. All that wealth and they squander on foolish ventures. So they're just rich as shit. So she just is like being a rich person. That's not really a job. But it's not really unemployed either, kind of like we've talked about. Holy shit, they've got a corpse in their basement. This is not good. Well, this doesn't really look like any of my business. The Temple of Mara. Okay, so get ready for a bunch of employed priests. Are you guys priests or are you... Oh my god, Dinya, I've already talked to you. Are you guys priests or are you just like acolytes? Because I noticed that guy has like a hood, which makes me feel like you guys, like he's employed and maybe you guys are just like acolytes. Like basically glorified altar boys. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this guy's employed, but the other two actually are just apprentices. So they're not employed, but they don't, they're not unemployed neither. Oh my god, it's a mortuary.
Come to laugh at the grave tender?
You're a grave tender? That sounds like a job.
Look, I didn't ask.
Job! Oh my god, she's employed. What about you? You look dead. Now it's time for the Bee and the Barb. I assume that's like an inn. A lot of inns in Skyrim. They should have called it Skyrim Inn. For all the inns. Oh my god, lots of people here. Okay. First up, courier. That's a job just by definition, and unless that's your name.
Important deliveries to make.
No, it's not. Okay, great. You, oh my god, you're working. Look at you having a job. Louis Latrush. You kind of sound like you are a delinquent. You definitely don't have a job. You're hanging out in the inn. You're trying to get me to do your dirty work. I think you're unemployed, buddy. I'm sorry. Wow, you're a mercenary? Do you stay in town or no? I guess you probably stay here. You just live in the inn. Which I guess probably applies to her too. But she's not hireable, unless somebody else already hired her, and that's why she's not hireable. So maybe both of these people are actually employed mercenaries. I think that's what I'm going to go with. Ooh, work at the Blackbriar Meadery. You'll love to hear that, buddy. Congratulations on your job. Sorry about your sister, but just keep on working. You'll get over it. Hello, Kirava. Lovely inn you have. Do you enjoy working here? Alright, so the only guy in here that I don't know for sure is Sam, and all he talks about is wanting to do a drinking contest. So I just talked to the bureau, and they authorized me to start drinking on the job to try and figure out if this guy's employed. So
Wow, you've really done it.
oh my god, he just roofied a member of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Oh, he's gonna get it. I think that's most of the actual businesses in the proper part of Riften. So now we got to check in with the keep, the government itself. These are the people who are ultimately responsible for how the town is doing or not doing. And upon walking in, there's only one person here. Two people. Sareland, who are you, sir? You kind of sound like a trust fund kid who's just like rich and doesn't have a job and is just complaining all day. So I'm gonna call you unemployed. Go get a job, rich kid. I'm the steward. Oh, you're the steward of the Jarl. That sounds like a job to me. And who do we have here? Oh, a house Carl. That's like a bodyguard. That counts.
You could say that the Ratway is the city under the city.
Did you just say have here? Oh, a house Carl. That's like a bodyguard. That counts.
You could say that the Ratway is the city under the city.
Did you just say a city under the city? Oh god. Ah, and here is the Jarl herself. You have one of the most important jobs in the world. Being the leader of the world. Alright, that's everyone up top, so now we're going to come down here and take a look at... There's a couple of legitimate businesses down here, including this potion shop. Thank you for running the potion shop, Half-Jorg. Ah, you help run the alchemy shop. Okay, very good. And actually, I think that's the only legitimate business, which means the only thing left within the city walls is a little place called the Ratway. Now, like you heard that guard in the keep said that the Ratway is sort of a city underneath the city.
You could say that the Ratway is the city under the city.
So that's going to be a gigantic pain in the ass. So I'm going to do something else first. Just because we believe we counted everyone within the city walls doesn't mean there are not people working within the jurisdiction of the city, but outside of the actual walls. So we're gonna pop outside here. First up, we have this guy. This guy does not, oh my god, a dragon. This guy does not work for Riften. This guy just goes, he's a taxi driver. He's like an Uber for all of America. So he does not count. Over here, we've got the Riften stable. And this feller seems to run the stables. A man goes by the name of Horse Crusher. And it looks like that's it. It looks like it's just him. More from the Bureau. Assborn. How are you, sir?
He's teaching me.
What you're running down here. You know, obviously it's organized quite well. And I don't necessarily know law. So yeah, hired by people to carry out tasks, even though they're extrajudicial. Which is kind of true of like lawyers and stuff too, and like banks, they're always breaking the law. So yeah, if a banker is counted as employed, thieves are counted as employed, as long as they're part of some wealth redistribution crew. I'm not counting common petty thieves as employed. People who sit in caves and steal money from passerbys. No, that's not employment. This is employment. Now, I believe there are a few stragglers in these vaults here. You, hello. What's going on with you? Oh my god, you're trying to kill me. A vagrant. Yeah, okay, vagrant. You wanna know what vagrant is a synonym for? Any other unemployed people sitting down here doing nothing? Wasting society resources? Oh, look at this. It's vagrant city down. And lowlifes. You got lowlifes and vagrants. Come on. My opinion is if you don't have nice clothes, you're unemployed. Sorry. I'm a prejudiced man. Holy shit. Now I'm allowed to take all this free gold. I'm allowed to take it because the Bureau is underfunded, and this is how we fund our expeditions. Okay, so if you want to get more employment statistics, just turn the other cheek. Okay, that's what Jesus said. Jesus said, "Turn the other cheek. Let me break open this box so I can fund my expeditions." How do you think Jesus got all around the world? You think he just bartered his way? Hello, sir. Are you employed? Oh, you're dead. Sorry for your loss. All right, it's a beautiful night. I think we finished counting everyone down in the sewers, which kind of brings our little employment survey to an end, I think. Certainly there may be some stragglers left yet, but I'm pretty sure we really just have one more thing to do, which is to count all the guards. We're going to do that during the day because I assume that means most of the guards will be out, and we're going to kind of do it as quickly as possible so that we don't accidentally double count people throughout the day. Okay, ready, set, go. 1 guard, 2 guard, 3 guards. Oh my god, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 21, 22, 23, 25, 29, and I think that's it. That should be pretty much everyone in Riften. What a beautiful city. I'm so happy to have spent the last few days here trying to get a sense of how the economic situation is. But of course, that's not really my job. That's the job of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So I'm going to throw it over to them for their full employment situation summary. So stay tuned for the press conference. 3, 2, 1, press. Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing? This is the employment situation summary for the city of Riften in Skyrim. I don't have any additional information to give you about procedure today, so we can get right into it. Total service payroll employment for Riften is at 95 persons, and unemployment is at 7.8%. That is the report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Riften's economic situation is fairly balanced, is at 95 persons, and unemployment is at 7.8%. That is the report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Riften's economic situation is fairly balanced and sustainable. Half of working persons are employed by the city itself for protection and policing, and the other half of the population is holistically spread among merchants, religious organizations, farming and animal care, non-military government work, and hospitality. This is unusual for us. A lot of the cities that we survey, a lot of the cities that we go to are places with very specific and rigid economic situations and sort of employment sectors. So this is good news. Exports of high quality fish bring in consistent revenue and give Riften a reliable source of local food, but earth and crop agriculture is less prominent in Riften than it is in other holds in Skyrim. So the city does import fruits, vegetables, grains, etc. from elsewhere. That said, the city does have a small farming capability just in case any sort of disastrous political situation develops between local leaders and the wider imperial influence, but I'm sure that won't happen. That said, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, so to speak, for Riften. There are two areas of concern for Riften, despite its face value sustainability. Hello? I got a weird thing in my, sorry. The first area of concern is demographic. Though there is a good mix of races, ages, and genders, there are no children in town with parents. Of the 119 person population, only 4 of them are children, and 100% of those children are orphans. The Bureau was unable to figure out exactly why this happened, but the idea that everyone who chose to bear children in Riften ended up dead or missing or just abandoning their children certainly puts into question, at the very least, the quality of Riften's medical facilities, but possibly carries wider social implications. So if you are thinking about Riften long term, this is a huge problem down the line. We've seen this in a couple of cities. Valdalobos, where we were last time, also has this problem. There's just no children, so sort of the long-term health is a little bit in question. The second area of concern is crime. The wealthy class in Riften repeatedly complains to the enumerator about some sort of poor riffraff class that doesn't want to work, but the reality seems to be that most of the crime comes from people who are part of a well-organized thieves' guild, as they say. And though this thieves guild are actually hired by members of the wealthy or middle class to like do crime. There is a small subset of poor, sort of dirty people who beg for money on the street, but the only active violent crime in the city is tacitly encouraged by the same people who are complaining about there being active violent crime. So Riften's sort of reputation as being a haven for crime is really sort of overblown. It's actually just kind of it's caused and complained about by the same wealthy class. That doesn't necessarily have long-term implications economically, but it is an artificially created sort of casting system within the city, and things that are artificially created need to be artificially sustained, and those things want to sort of disintegrate over time. So they'll have to worry about that too as well. 7.8% puts Riften at the top of our unemployment list and ties it with the Earth country of Tajikistan. Probably is Tajikistan. This survey comes from a direct survey conducted by the Bureau of Labor Statistics over 5 days. If you'd like more details, you can get the full report down in the description. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll have the full unemployment rankings up in the end card for you as well. However, guess what? Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate it so very much. If you enjoyed it, please leave a comment down below saying you liked it. That tells me that I'm making what you want me to make. And that's what I want to do. I'm here to serve you. The best thing you can do for me is to immediately watch another one of my videos right after this one. For example, another one of our many unemployment reports. And the last thing I'm going to tell you before I leave is, guess what? In my free time, I make a lot of music. I use that music in all my videos. So today, I will leave you with this. What in my free time, I make a lot of music. I use that music in all my videos. So today, I will leave you with this. Enjoy the song, and I will see you next time. 'Cause I've been talking with your friends, and they said you're a trip. They said that you manipulated me through a trip. 'Cause I've been talking with your friends, and they said you're a trip. They said that you manipulated me through, and I'm experienced with that. I see. Time. And if it stays between us, I think it's How many trees are there in Skyrim? Don't look it up. Don't read the comments. Just think about it for a second. You think there are more than 1,000? More than 10,000? 100,000? I'm sure it's obvious, but today that's what we're going to try to figure out. And we're going to do it without using any mods. I'm literally gonna go inside Skyrim as a character, walk around, and just count them. Like 1, 2, 3, you know? Once I think I know how many there are, we're gonna get someone to dig into the game files, figure out the actual number, and see how close we actually got. But in order to make this really fun, I'm not gonna be the only one guessing. I've enlisted the help of 10 other incredible creators and one very special guest, each of whom will also try to guess the number of trees, and then at the end of the video, we're gonna see who was closest to the real number, and whoever wins a $10,000 donation to the charity of their choice. Surprise! Now, I'm sure you have a lot of questions, like which trees actually count and what even qualifies as a tree, and I will answer all of those questions shortly, but first, I want you to think of your own guess. You can even write it down in the comments if you want to, and then compare your guess to the very first number from one of our guest participants.
Hello Internet, my name is Matthew Patrick, better known online as Matt Pat, and I have been asked the question, how many trees are there in Skyrim? Yes, that is an example of a tree. Thank you for the camera work there, Steph. Taking it at face value and assuming, you know, if I were just to put out a number out there into the world, I'm gonna guess 83,762 trees. That's my guess. Good luck.
Okay, so Matt Pat himself, possibly the most qualified person on the planet for this particular question, outside of an actual forest surveyor, thinks there are 83,762 trees in Skyrim. We will see if he's right later on. Now, when I first came up with this idea, which was actually inspired by a joke comment someone made on one of my community posts, I legitimately thought I was just going to be able to open up Skyrim, pick a starting point, and then just walk around and count the trees by hand. You know, I thought it would take maybe a few hours, but with a little bit of patience, I could pull it off and have a perfectly accurate count within a day or two, but I was very wrong about that. Oh my god. How am I gonna... Okay, maybe that's like 10, 20, 30, 50, and then maybe like 50... There are clearly a lot of trees in Skyrim, way more than I initially thought, and it was obvious I was going to need a more sophisticated system for trying to count them. So I decided we would basically do 3 levels of guessing, each one more complicated than the last one. So to start, we're just gonna eyeball it, you know, vibe it out, which basically meant, you know, running around forested areas, rapidly counting as many trees as I could, and then just finding a high enough vantage point that I could see far enough to guess how many there might be in a total area. Sort of like a weird, very immersive version of a jelly bean counting contest. I thought there were maybe 7,000 trees near Falkreath, maybe 8,000 or so around Morthal here, 10,000 down here in the aspen forests near Riften. It wasn't perfect, but I thought I'd at least be getting sort of in the ballpark with all of these guesses. But the more I walked around, man, the more it became clear that this was going to be an absolutely gargantuan task. 100, okay, we're just gonna say 2,000, we're just gonna call it 8,000. in this whole valley. How about that? And on top of that, I had to figure out exactly what even counted as a tree for this survey, which sounds silly, but it's actually more complicated than you might think. This was actually something that MatPat brought up in his video submission that I very rudely cut out for pacing, so let him explain it to you.
This might be a trick question, Eddie Austin, might be, because technically speaking, trees don't exist. The biological definition of a tree is just like a label that we've arbitrarily put on certain plant life out there. So this could be a trick question, and the real answer is that no trees exist in Skyrim because the definition of tree is a nebulous concept.
So after giving it some thought, I decided I was going to keep the rules extremely simple. Trunk, tall, branches. If it looks like a tree, I'm counting it as a tree. We're using the kindergarten definition of a tree. Got it? So in the end, purely based on vibes, I decided that my first guess was going to be 41,500 trees in Skyrim. And that's just from me walking around and eyeballing it. So less than half of MatPat's guess, which obviously makes me a little bit nervous. In fact, why don't we see what some of our other participants guessed and then see if that makes us feel any better.
My name is Juve, and I believe that there are 1,627 trees in the hit 2011 video game, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim.
Well, hello. My name is Kate. Taking an educated guess from the amount of time I've spent roaming that map for my entire adult life, it feels like at this point, I would say that there is at least 38,752.
Hello! Oh, that light's really bright. I'm H Bomber Guy, and I think there are 45,000 trees in Skyrim. And if there aren't, there should be. Goodbye.
All right, 3 more guesses.
And if there aren't, there should be. Goodbye.
All right, 3 more guesses on the board. I'm not sure if that does make me feel better, but I think it did. So the question now is, if there are too many trees to actually count them one by one, which there definitely is, and just wandering